The grand space palace of King Zork floated silently above the blue gas giant, its golden spires reflecting distant stars. Ships from countless worlds had gathered in orbit, each carrying merchants, nobles, and soldiers eager to witness the galaxy's most unusual auction. Among them was Rian, a young human merchant from Earth. Unlike most humans, he had traveled far beyond the solar system, seeking rare treasures and knowledge, but nothing in his life had prepared him for what awaited inside the palace. Rian's ship docked in the palace's enormous spaceport. He stepped out, adjusting his simple brown coat, and looked around. The air shimmered with alien energy, and towering statues of unknown creatures loomed over the grand entrance. Sounds of chatter in dozens of languages filled the hall. Rian's heart pounded with both excitement and caution. He had heard whispers of this auction and event where rare beings, artifacts, and powers were bought and sold by the galactic elite. Inside, the main hall stretched farther than he could see. Rows of seats surrounded a golden stage. On the stage, a massive screen displayed the next item to be auctioned, a beautiful alien woman. Her skin shimmered with soft blue tones, and her eyes glowed faintly like distant moons. Even from a distance, Rian could feel her intelligence and presence. She did not bow or smile like other auction items. Instead, she held herself with quiet strength. She is extraordinary, a nearby alien merchant whispered to his companion. Not just beauty, her abilities are unmatched. Some say she can sense energy patterns across planets. Rian's curiosity deepened. He had never seen an alien like her. Many of the beings he had encountered in the galaxy were enslaved because of strength or rarity. But this one seemed different. He could feel that she was more than a prize, she was a mind, a spirit, and perhaps a key to something greater. The auction began with grand fanfare. Holograms of previous items flashed across the stage. Rare crystals, exotic pets, and even tiny worlds were sold to the highest bidder. When the Galactic King's herald announced the alien woman, a hush fell over the hall. King Zork himself appeared in a hologram above the stage. His voice was deep and commanding. Behold, citizens of the galaxy, today you see not only beauty, but potential. The next prize holds secrets that could change the balance of power. Bid wisely. Rian felt a cold shiver. The king's words hinted that this auction was not merely about wealth, it was about influence. Some of the richest aliens in the galaxy raised their glowing bidding devices, eyes fixed on the woman. Rian knew he could not compete with their wealth, but he did not care. He had another gold dash protection dot as the bidding started. Numbers and energy pulses flew across the stage. The price rose quickly, far beyond what most humans could imagine. But Rian remained calm. He whispered to himself, I don't need to own her. I need to save her. The alien woman's eyes met his for a brief moment. There was no fear, only sharp intelligence. She seemed to study him, as if sensing his intentions. For the first time, Rian felt a connection, a silent understanding that he was different from the others here. The bidding war became fierce. Alien nobles shouted numbers that glowed like stars. Rian clenched his fists. He had prepared for this. He activated a device hidden beneath his coat, one that would momentarily boost his bidding. Signal to reach the king's system. The numbers flashed, and for a tense moment, the hall went silent. Then the king's hologram spoke. A human dares to enter the competition. A smile curved across the alien king's face, though it was cold and calculating. Very well. Let us see what you value, human. Rian raised his hand. I bid for her freedom, he said clearly, his voice steady. The words surprised the crowd. Whispers filled the hall. A human caring for an alien's life rather than wealth was almost unheard of. The bidding resumed. But the moment had shifted. Many of the elites now looked at him with curiosity. Not just competition. He raised the bid higher than before. Not to win as a prize, but to outsmart those who wanted her for selfish gain. The alien woman watched silently, her glowing eyes following each movement, calculating, evaluating. Finally, with a final pulse of energy, Rian's bid was accepted. The king's hologram flickered. And then Zorak's voice boomed. The human wins. The alien woman shall be his for now. A murmur spread across the hall. Some were shocked, others intrigued. The woman herself did not react outwardly, but her eyes softened slightly as she looked at Rian. There was no gratitude, but a faint acknowledgement of recognition that he might be different from the rest. Rian stepped forward cautiously. "You are safe," he whispered, not expecting her to respond. She simply nodded. A small but clear gesture of trust. As the auction ended, Rian escorted her to his ship. The palace guards watched them closely but did not interfere. Even King Zork had rules to follow. Once aboard, Rian offered her a seat and some nourishment. She studied him carefully before taking it, still cautious but no longer hostile. The journey through space began. Stars streaked past the windows as Rian plotted their course away from the king's reach. He could feel the alien woman's presence beside him, not just as a passenger, but as a mind unlike any he had encountered before. "Why did you save me?" she finally asked, her voice calm but curious. Rian smiled gently. "Because no one should be treated as a prize, not even in the galaxy's richest palace." For the first time in a long while, the alien woman seemed to consider that humans might not all be like the others who enslaved her. And in that quiet moment aboard the ship, a fragile trust began, a bond that would be tested in ways neither of them could yet imagine. As the stars stretched into infinity, Rian knew one thing. This journey would not only be about saving her, but discovering the secrets she carried, secrets that could change the galaxy forever. The hum of the spaceship's engines was the only sound in the cabin. As it moved through the endless black of space, Rian piloted with calm precision, adjusting their course to avoid known patrols of King Zorak's fleet. Beside him, Kira remained, seated, her glowing eyes scanning the control panels with quiet interest. She had not spoken much since the auction, but Rian could feel her mind observing, analyzing every movement he made. "You're very skilled with this ship," she said. Finally, her voice calm but filled with curiosity, Rian glanced at her and smiled lightly. "I've had to be. Space isn't forgiving, and neither are those who would see me fail." Kira nodded, as if understanding more than just his words. "Most humans are reckless," she said, almost as a statement to herself. "You are different." Rian chuckled softly. "I get that a lot, but different can be a good thing, especially in times like these." The tension in the cabin eased slightly, though both knew danger still lurked. Kira was not only valuable because of her appearance. Her abilities made her a target. She could sense energy patterns, detect hidden dangers, and even influence certain systems with her mind. Many in the galaxy would pay a fortune to control her, and Rian had no intention of letting that happen. As the hours passed, Rian began to explain the basics of human life, Earth, his home planet, and why he had chosen to leave it behind. Kira listened silently, occasionally asking questions that revealed her keen intelligence. She was fascinated by human ingenuity, something that many aliens underestimated. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped urgently. Rian's hands moved quickly over the controls. "Pirates," he muttered. The readout showed a fast-approaching vessel, weapons charged and clearly intent on boarding. Kira rose, her eyes glowing brighter. "I can help," she said. "I can sense their energy patterns. I can predict their moves." Rian nodded. "We'll need every advantage we can get." The pirates struck quickly, firing plasma bolts that slammed against the ship's shields. Rian maneuvered sharply, avoiding most of the attacks, but he could see one bolt grazing the hull. Sparks flew in the cabin as alarms blared. "Now," Kira said, placing her hands on the control panel. A wave of energy radiated from her, and the ship's systems responded. Lights flickered, and sensors recalibrated. Rian could see the pirate ship's movements shifting slightly, almost as if it was confused. "You're incredible," Rian shouted, focusing on evasive maneuvers while Kira continued to guide him. The battle raged, but their teamwork began to turn the tide. Kira could sense where the pirate ship would strike next, and Rian used that information to outmaneuver it. With a final, sharp turn, he managed to launch a magnetic pulse that disabled the pirate vessel's engines. The ship drifted silently, powerless, as Rian and Kira watched. "We should leave it behind," Rian said. "They won't be able to follow us for long." Kira nodded, her expression thoughtful. You are clever, Rian. Most humans would have panicked. He smiled, a little proud. Humans have their moments. I'm glad I've met one who trusts me enough to fight alongside me. After the encounter, the cabin grew quiet again. Kira returned to her seat, but she seemed more at ease. No longer just a passenger, but a partner in survival. Rian offered her food and water, simple rations from Earth, and she accepted, eating with careful consideration. You eat differently from the others, Rian noticed. Are human meals unusual? Kira tilted her head, studying him. They are simple, yet satisfying. Most of my kind eat for energy, not for enjoyment. Your species seems to value taste. Rian laughed softly. We do. Simple pleasures matter, especially when life is dangerous. As they continued their journey, Rian showed Kira how to operate parts of the ship. She learned quickly, understanding the logic behind the controls. It was clear that her intelligence was not just natural talent, but a deep curiosity about the universe. Days passed, stars streaked past the viewports, and the silence between them was comfortable. Kira began to open up slowly, telling stories of her past, not her capture, but her life before. She spoke of her planet, a place of glowing forests and floating rivers, and of her people, who had once been protectors of the galaxy. Rian listened intently, fascinated by her experiences. Your world sounds amazing, he said. It's a shame you had to leave it. Kira's eyes dimmed slightly, sadness flickering across her features. It was taken from us, she admitted, and now I must survive, no matter what. Rian placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Then we'll survive together. You're not alone anymore. That night, as the ship glided through the stars, an unusual energy signature appeared on their sensors, of faint, rhythmic pulse. Kira's eyes widened. That is not natural, she whispered. Someone is tracking us. They are close, but they are hiding their presence, very skilled. Rian frowned. Could it be the king's forces? Kira shook her head. Perhaps. Or someone else. Whoever it is, they know your ship and my abilities exist. They want to find us before we reach safety. Rian tightened his grip on the controls. Then we need to move faster and stay ahead. Whatever comes, we face it together. As the ship sped onward, the bond between human and alien grew stronger. Kira had begun to trust Rian, and Rian had grown protective of her. Each star that passed was not just a point of light, but a reminder that the galaxy was vast, full of danger, mystery, and opportunity, and together, they would face it all. The night passed in a tense but hopeful silence. Both were aware that the journey ahead would test their skills, courage, and trust. But in the vast emptiness of space, they had each other, and that, Rian knew, was their greatest strength. For the first time in her life, Kira felt a spark of hope. And for the first time in his travels, Rian realized that protecting someone could mean discovering a purpose far greater than any treasure. Rian's ship moved steadily through a dense asteroid field, its engines humming against the backdrop of distant stars. Kira sat beside him, eyes fixed on the navigation screen, sensing every subtle shift in energy around them. The trackers she had detected the night before were still following, but now they seemed cautious, hesitant. Someone was clearly watching, but their identity remained a mystery. We need a place to hide, Rian said, adjusting the ship's course, somewhere no one would think to look for us. Kira closed her eyes, letting her senses extend beyond the walls of the ship. There is a planet ahead, she said quietly. It is uncharted. Its energy is unusual. It could protect us or trap us. Rian glanced at the sensors. Uncharted? That sounds dangerous. But at this point, danger is better than being caught. As they approached the planet, its surface appeared from the clouds, a green and blue world dotted with strange glowing crystals, and rivers that shimmered under the planet's twin suns. The atmosphere seemed thick but breathable. Rian maneuvered carefully, landing the ship in a hidden valley surrounded by jagged cliffs. Once the engines powered down, the silence of the planet was almost deafening. Birds with translucent wings glided above, and plants pulsed with faint energy, as if alive in a way humans could barely understand. Kira stepped outside first, her feet barely making a sound on the soft ground. "This place," she whispered. "Odd. It is ancient. It holds knowledge older than most galaxies." Rion followed, scanning the area with his handheld device. "You think it's safe?" he asked. Kira's eyes glowed faintly. "It will hide us for now, but we must remain alert. Energy here reacts to us. It will show if someone approaches, but it can also be unpredictable." Together, they explored the valley, finding a small clearing surrounded by crystal formations. The crystals pulsed with a rhythm that seemed to match Kira's energy. She knelt beside one, touching its surface lightly. "These crystals, they respond to my presence," she said. "I can feel knowledge stored here. Memories of those who lived long ago." Rion studied her carefully. "Can they help us, perhaps?" Kira said, "But I must be careful. The energy is strong, and if I overextend, it could harm me or alert others." Despite the tension, Rion found a sense of wonder in the planet. "I've traveled far and seen many worlds," he said, "but nothing like this. It's beautiful and dangerous." Kira smiled faintly. "Most danger here comes from curiosity. The planet tests those who enter, deciding if they are worthy." As night fell under the twin moons, the valley glowed softly. Kira shared more of her past, telling Rion about her people, the guardians of knowledge who had once traveled the galaxy to protect weaker civilizations. But they were betrayed, overpowered by those who wanted control rather than harmony. Rion listened, feeling a mix of admiration and sadness. "It seems like your life has been hard," he said gently. "But maybe now you can make a new start." Kira's eyes flickered with a hint of hope. "Perhaps, with you, I feel I can try." Suddenly, the crystals around them pulsed sharply. Kira's eyes widened. They sensed something. Someone is nearby. Rion grabbed a small blaster from his belt. "Hide," he whispered. They moved behind a large crystal formation, peering carefully. From the shadows of the valley, a scout ship emerged, small and silent, almost blending with the night. "They are close," Kira said. "I can feel their intent. They are here for me and for you." Rion nodded. "Then we prepare. Whatever happens, we fight together." The scout ship landed lightly, and 3 figures emerged. They were alien hunters, each armored and armed, moving with calculated precision. Rion and Kira stayed hidden, watching their approach. "I can disrupt their sensors," Kira whispered. "But it will take effort." "Do it," Rion said. "I'll cover you." Kira extended her hands, focusing energy into the crystals around them. A soft hum filled the valley as the crystals amplified her power. The hunters froze, their scanning devices flickering and failing. They glanced around, confused, unable to locate their target. Rion took advantage of the moment, using his blaster to disable the nearest ship's energy field. Sparks flew, and the hunters stumbled, giving Kira a chance to act again. She sent a pulse through the ground, shaking it slightly and creating a barrier of glowing energy that forced the hunters back. "This is incredible," Rion said, amazed. "I've never seen anyone do that." Kira focused, sweat on her brow. "I've never done it with this much energy. But we must hold them off long enough to escape." Together, they ran toward a cave opening at the base of the cliffs. The hunters pursued, but the valley itself seemed to protect them. Crystals shifted, creating obstacles, and energy pulses misdirected the aliens. Rion could see Kira's powers growing stronger with each move, yet she remained in control, guiding both of them safely. Finally, they reached a hidden chamber deep within the cliffs. Rion collapsed against the wall, catching his breath. "That was too close," he said. Kira leaned against a crystal, her eyes glowing faintly. "The planet chose to protect us. But this place is not a permanent shelter. We must move soon." Rion nodded. "We will. But for now, we've survived, and we've learned we can rely on each other." Kira looked at him, her expression unreadable at first, then softened. "Yes, together, we are stronger than they expected, and perhaps together, we can change more than just our fate." Rion smiled. "Then that's what we'll do. One step at a time." Outside, the twin moons reflected softly on the crystal valley. The hunters had retreated, for now, But Rian and Kira knew that the galaxy was vast, full of dangers, and full of secrets waiting to be uncovered. And here, on this mysterious planet, they had found not just a hiding place, but the beginning of a partnership that could shape the future. As they rested for the night, Kira closed her eyes and let the planet's energy flow around her. She felt hope, a rare and fragile thing, and for the first time in a long while, she allowed herself to imagine a life beyond captivity. Rian, watching her quietly, knew that he had not only saved an alien from slavery, but discovered an ally whose power and wisdom could change the course of events in the galaxy. Together, they were no longer just a human and an alien, they were a team, ready to face whatever came next. The hidden chamber inside the cliffs was quiet, illuminated by the soft glow of crystals that pulsed with faint energy. Kira sat cross-legged on the ground, her eyes closed, letting the planet's energy flow through her. She could feel memories of her people, images of glowing cities, floating rivers, and warriors who once protected entire worlds. Her heart ached with both pride and sorrow. Rian sat nearby, cleaning his blaster and keeping a careful watch at the cave entrance. He could feel Kira's connection to the planet and knew she was discovering something important. "Are you okay?" he asked gently. Kira opened her eyes, glowing faintly. "I am learning," she said. "The planet holds knowledge about my people, about what they were and why we were betrayed. This energy is ancient, more powerful than I imagined." Rian nodded. "Then let's make the most of it. Whatever you learn could help us stay safe and maybe help others too." Kira focused again, sending her senses deeper into the planet's energy. She felt visions of her home world, of her people guarding secrets meant to protect the galaxy. There was a device, an artifact hidden long ago, that could channel the energy of entire stars. Her people had hidden it to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands, but it had been lost over centuries. "They want me," Kira whispered, "not just for my abilities, but because I can lead them to the artifact. The king, and others like him, will stop at nothing to control it." Rian's jaw tightened. "Then we have to reach it first, before they do. We can't let such power fall into the wrong hands." Kira nodded, determination shining in her eyes. "Yes, but first, I need to understand my own abilities. This planet is helping me, but I must master my control. Otherwise, I could be a danger to myself or to you." Rian offered a reassuring smile. "Then we'll train together. I'll help you however I can. We're a team now." For the next several hours, Kira practiced manipulating the crystal's energy. She lifted small rocks without touching them, created protective barriers, and even sent pulses of energy across the cave to interact with the crystals remotely. Rian watched in awe. He had faced many dangers in space, but he had never seen anything like this. "You're amazing," he said. "I don't think anyone could have handled this as well as you." Kira shook her head. "It is not about skill alone. It is about understanding the flow of energy, respecting it, and connecting to it. You help me do that." Your presence is calm, focused. Rian felt a warmth in his chest. "I just want to make sure you're safe. That's all." Suddenly, the cave trembled. A distant rumble echoed through the cliffs. Rian and Kira both froze. "They found us," Kira said. "Hunters or soldiers, it doesn't matter. They are coming." Rian grabbed his blaster. "Then we need to prepare. We can't run forever." Kira stood beside him, energy radiating from her hands. "No, we fight if we must, but we can also use the planet to our advantage. Its energy can shield us, mislead them, and even turn their own systems against them." As the sound of footsteps and approaching engines grew louder, Kira extended her hands. Waves of energy pulsed through the cave, creating illusions among the crystals. Shadows shifted and multiplied, making it impossible to tell where she and Rian were hiding. The first wave of soldiers entered the valley. They looked confident, but their sensors were unreliable in the planet's energy field. They fired weapons blindly, only to find the rocks and crystals shifting, creating barriers and misdirecting every shot. Rian moved quickly, using the confusion to disable their vehicles with well-aimed shots. Kira's abilities guided his aim, sensing the weaknesses in the attacker's armor and technology. Together, they became an unstoppable team, human strategy and alien power, perfectly synchronized. "You're incredible," Rian shouted over the noise. "I've never fought like this before." Kira smiled faintly. "I told you, together, we are stronger." After a tense struggle, the attackers retreated, realizing the planet itself seemed to resist them. The valley fell silent once more, leaving only the hum of crystals and their own heavy breaths. Rian lowered his blaster, looking at Kira with admiration. "We did it. That was amazing." Kira nodded, but her expression was serious. "This was only a test. They will return, and next time they will be stronger. We must leave this planet soon and find the artifact my people hid. It is our only chance to stay ahead." Rian studied the valley, then looked at her. "Then we prepare. We train, gather supplies, and plan our next move. Together." Kira's eyes softened. "I have trusted few in my life. But you are different, Rian. You see me as a person, not a prize or a weapon. That gives me strength." Rian smiled. "And you give me courage. I've faced many dangers in the galaxy, but this feels bigger than anything I've done before. I'm glad you're with me." For the first time since the auction, Kira allowed herself a small, genuine smile. "Then let us continue, human. We have much to do and many challenges ahead. But together, I believe we can overcome them." As the twin moons of the valley cast long shadows across the glowing crystals, Rian and Kira made a silent pact. They would face whatever threats came, uncover the secrets of her people, and ensure that the power of the artifact would never fall into the wrong hands. The planet, ancient and wise, seemed to approve. The crystal's glow intensified slightly, as if acknowledging their determination and unity. In that moment, human and alien stood side by side, not master and prize, but allies, friends, and partners in a journey that could reshape the galaxy itself and far beyond the valley. Hidden observers watched the valley, noting the human who had dared to save the alien, and the alien who had begun to trust him. The game was far from over, and the next moves would decide not just their fate, but the balance of power across the stars. Rian's ship left the mysterious planet behind, moving quietly through the star-strewn void. Kira sat beside him, her eyes glowing faintly as she continued to study the energy patterns in space. "We are being followed," she said after a few minutes, her voice calm but serious. Rian checked the sensors. "Just small scouts. Nothing we can't handle if we need to. But we need a plan. We can't keep running forever." Kira nodded. "There's a galactic station not far from here. It is neutral ground. If we can reach it, we might find allies and information about the king's plans." Rian agreed. "Then that's where we go. Let's hope the station is as neutral as you say." The journey was tense. Small scout ships appeared intermittently, but Kira's abilities allowed them to avoid most encounters. Her power to sense energy patterns and anticipate movement gave Rian a unique advantage. He had never relied on anyone like this before, and it amazed him how naturally they worked together. As they neared the station, a massive structure came into view, a circular hub of light and metal, buzzing with ships from countless civilizations. The station was busy, chaotic, yet neutral, a place where trades, diplomacy, and information all came together. Rian docked carefully, and they stepped into the station's central hall. The air was thick with voices in hundreds of languages, but the place had order. Security drones moved silently, ensuring rules were followed. Kira's gaze swept the crowd. "We need allies, but we must choose carefully. The king has spies everywhere." Rian nodded, agreed. "Let's find those who value freedom over power." They walked through the market-like corridors, scanning for potential partners. Soon, they found Milo, a small but highly intelligent alien known for his technical genius. Milo had a reputation for building advanced devices and helping those who fought oppression. Rian explained their situation briefly. "I can help you," Milo said after considering their story. "But this won't be easy. The king's influence stretches far, and your presence on this station will attract attention." Kira spoke next. "We are aware of the risks, But our goal is not just survival, it is to stop him from controlling powers that should belong to none. Milo nodded. Then I am with you. Next, they met Tara, a skilled human pilot known for daring missions through dangerous space routes. She listened to their story, her sharp eyes studying both Rian and Kira. I don't care about politics, she said, but I care about freedom. If you need someone to fly into danger and come out alive, I'm your pilot. Rian smiled. Then we have a team. We have brains, skill, and courage. That's a start. For the next few days, they worked together, planning their next moves. Kira trained with the crystal's energy aboard the ship, increasing her control and learning to use her abilities without overextending. Milo built devices that could cloak the ship from trackers and detect hidden threats. Tara mapped safe and dangerous routes through nearby star systems. But peace was short-lived. While they prepared, sensors detected an approaching fleet. The king's agents had found them. And this time, it was no small scout party, it was a full-strike team. They are serious, Kira said, tension in her voice. They know we have knowledge, and they want to capture me. You too. Human, they will not leave anyone alive who resists. Rian clenched his fists. Then we fight. We won't let them take you or the knowledge you hold. Not without a battle. As the king's ships entered the station's perimeter, alarms blared, security drones activated, and chaos rippled through the corridors. Rian, Kira, Milo, and Tara moved quickly, using back passages and hidden elevators to reach the central hub, where they could observe the attackers. Kira raised her hands, sending waves of energy through the station's structure. Sparks flew as lights flickered, and some of the attackers' systems glitched. Rian took advantage of the confusion, directing drones to disable enemy ships and creating barriers in hallways. Milo hacked into communication lines, sending false orders to the king's fleet. Tara maneuvered their ship within the station, creating an unpredictable path that kept them safe while distracting the intruders. The battle was intense but strategic. Kira's control over energy patterns allowed them to anticipate every move, while Rian's human ingenuity and quick thinking outsmarted enemies at every turn. Together, they turned a desperate situation into a successful defense. After several tense hours, the king's forces retreated, unable to penetrate the station's defenses or overcome the team's coordinated efforts. Exhausted but victorious, Rian and Kira stood together, their bond stronger than ever. Milo looked at them, impressed. I've seen battles before, but never like this. You two, you are something special. Tara grinned. And don't forget, the human who never panicked and the alien who can bend energy with her mind. That's a combination that's going to change the galaxy. Kira looked at Rian, her expression calm but filled with respect. You're brave, human, and clever. I trust you more than I thought possible. Rian felt a warmth inside. And I trust you, Kira, not just your abilities, but your mind, your heart. Together, we can face anything. As the station returned to normal, Rian and Kira prepared for their next move. They would travel further into uncharted space, seeking the artifact Kira's people had hidden. They would gather more allies and uncover the secrets that could change the balance of power across the galaxy. The station, once a neutral hub, now knew the name of the human and the alien who defied the king's will. And somewhere in the shadows, spies reported back, noting that Rian and Kira were no ordinary fugitives. They were a team capable of extraordinary things. As they prepared to leave, Kira touched Rian's arm gently. The galaxy is dangerous, but with you, I feel hope, and hope is something worth fighting for. Rian smiled, looking at the stars through the station's large observation window. Then let's keep moving forward. We have a galaxy to protect and no one will stop. U.S. And with that, their ship departed from the station, carrying not just passengers but a purpose to save the galaxy from tyranny and ensure that knowledge and freedom would remain in the hands of those who respected life, not power. The journey ahead was uncertain, full of danger and challenge, but together, Rian and Kira knew that they were unstoppable. The galaxy had never seen a human and an alien like them before, and their story was only just beginning. The dark void of space stretched endlessly before Rion's ship as it moved toward the coordinates Kira had discovered in her visions. The artifact her people had hidden was close a device capable of immense power, and the king, Zorak, had sent his fleet, determined to claim it for himself. Rion checked the sensors. They're close. Faster than we expected. Kira's eyes glowed faintly as she reached out with her senses. Yes, the king has sent his elite forces. They know we are near the artifact. This will not be easy. Milo and Terra worked at the ship's consoles, preparing defenses and plotting escape routes. Milo had built energy dampeners and cloaking devices, while Terra coordinated flight patterns through the asteroid field surrounding the hidden planet. Rion looked at Kira. We've trained. We've prepared. Now it's time. Ready? Kira nodded. Ready. We fight together. But remember, our goal is the artifact. If we fail, the galaxy suffers, not just us. The first wave of Zorak's fleet appeared, massive warships cutting through the void. Like predatory beasts, their weapons glowed with lethal energy, and their speed made evasion difficult. But Rion remained calm, his mind focused on strategy. Keep close, he instructed Milo and Terra. We need to use the asteroids for cover and force them into narrow paths. Kira extended her hands, her energy rippling across the ship. Sensors flickered, and enemy targeting systems became erratic. I can distort their perception of us, she said. It will buy us time, but only briefly. The battle began. Plasma bolts slammed into shields, sending sparks across the ship. Rion maneuvered through the asteroid field with precision, dodging attacks and using the terrain to trap the enemy ships. Kira's energy pulses disabled weapon systems on several vessels, leaving them drifting and powerless. Your powers. They're incredible, Rion shouted over the roar of combat. I've never seen anything like this. Kira focused on the largest ship in the enemy fleet. If we take it down, the rest will hesitate. Aim for its engines. Let me guide your shots. Following her guidance, Rion fired with perfect timing, striking the ship's propulsion system. It spun out of control, colliding with an asteroid and exploding in a shower of sparks. The other ships faltered, unsure how to respond to the unexpected strategy. Milo's devices amplified Kira's energy, creating barriers and shielding the ship from further damage. Terra's piloting skills allowed them to weave through the chaos, striking at weak points and avoiding heavy fire. The human and alien combination proved unstoppable, each move perfectly coordinated. But Zorak's forces were relentless. Another wave arrived, larger and more powerful. Demanding full concentration from the team, Kira's hands glowed brightly as she sent a pulse of energy through the asteroid field, creating illusions and misdirections. Rion maneuvered the ship, weaving through false threats and real ones with equal skill. We can't hold them off forever, Terra shouted. Yes, we can, Kira replied. If we work together, we control the battlefield. Trust me, Rion nodded. Then let's finish this. They pressed forward, heading for the artifact's location on a hidden moon. Kira could sense its energy growing stronger as they approached. It is close, she said. We must reach it before they do, or all our efforts are meaningless. The final confrontation was near. Zorak's flagship appeared, massive and imposing, blocking their path, its weapons charged with deadly precision. Rion tightened his grip on the controls. This is it. Ready? Kira raised her hands, energy flowing in waves. We fight as one. The flagship fired. Rion dodged expertly, while Kira's energy shield absorbed and reflected some of the blasts. Milo hacked into the enemy systems, creating malfunctions and opening gaps in their defenses. Terra's piloting allowed the ship to strike weak points in the flagship's armor. Kira focused all her energy, sending a powerful pulse through the flagship. Its systems shut down temporarily, giving Rion the chance to maneuver behind it. He fired the ship's most powerful weapon, striking the core of the enemy vessel. The flagship exploded in a brilliant burst of light, scattering debris across space. The remaining enemy ships faltered, retreating in confusion. Rion, Kira, Milo, and Terra had won, but the cost of battle weighed heavily on them. Their ship was damaged, and energy reserves were low. but the artifact remained safe. Kira's eyes glowed brightly as she reached out and touched the energy of the artifact. It pulsed in response, as if recognizing her as a rightful guardian. "It is ours," she whispered. "We can protect it, use its power wisely, and prevent the king from controlling the galaxy." Rian placed a hand on her shoulder. "We did it, together. No one else could have done this." Milo nodded, still amazed. "Your powers and strategy. This is beyond anything I've ever seen. You two are truly extraordinary." Terra grinned. "And don't forget the human pilot who never panicked. That's just as important." Kira turned to Rian, her expression serious but soft. "You believed in me, trusted me when others only sought to control me. That gave me strength I did not know I had. I owe you more than I can say." Rian smiled gently. "And I owe you trust. You've shown that courage, intelligence, and compassion can change the galaxy. Together, we are stronger than any threat." As the dust of the battle settled, the team repaired their ship and prepared for the next journey. The artifact was safe, but they knew this victory was only temporary. Zork would return. More determined than ever, other enemies might rise. Seeking the power they now protected. Yet for the first time, hope shone brightly. Rian and Kira had proven that courage, trust, and unity could overcome even the most overwhelming odds. And in that moment, they understood something important. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but it could be changed not through fear or power, but through determination and partnership. Kira looked out at the stars, her glowing eyes reflecting both relief and resolve. "We have won today, but the journey is far from over. There is more to learn, more to protect, and more to fight for." Rian joined her, placing a hand on the controls and then on her shoulder. "Then we keep moving forward. Together, nothing can stop us. We'll face whatever comes next, and we'll protect the galaxy, no matter what." The stars stretched into infinity before them, endless and full of promise, and aboard their ship, human and alien stood side by side, ready to face the challenges that awaited, knowing that their courage, unity, and determination had already begun to change the galaxy forever. The battle had ended, but the galaxy was far from calm. Rian, Kira, Milo, and Terra traveled through the stars, repairing their ship and ensuring the artifact's energy remained stable. Though exhausted from the fight, a quiet determination filled the crew. They had won a crucial victory, but the mission was far from over. Kira sat in the ship's observation deck, her eyes reflecting the glowing stars outside. She reached out, feeling the artifact's energy resonating through the ship. "It is more powerful than I imagined," she said softly. "We must protect it wisely. If used incorrectly, it could destroy everything." Rian joined her, placing a hand gently on her arm. "And we will. Together, we've faced impossible odds. I trust us to make the right choices." Kira smiled faintly, the first genuine smile in a long time. "You have changed me, Rian. I never thought I could feel safe or hopeful again. But now, I do. Because of you." Rian's chest warmed at her words. "And you've changed me. I've faced danger before, but never with someone who makes every challenge feel possible. You've taught me what courage and trust truly mean." The ship's sensor suddenly beeped, signaling a message from the Galactic Council. A holographic image appeared, showing leaders from multiple civilizations. "Rian, Kira," one voice said, calm but commanding. "We have been monitoring your actions. Your courage, strategy, and teamwork have prevented a great threat. We invite you to present the artifact safely to the Council, so it may be used for protection, not destruction." Kira looked at Rian, energy still glowing faintly around her hands. "This is an opportunity to ensure the artifact remains safe, to prevent it from ever falling into the wrong hands." Rian nodded. "Then, we accept, but we must go carefully. There will still be those who try to interfere." With careful navigation and Kira's guidance, they reached the Council space station. It was massive, a floating city of light and metal, housing representatives from hundreds of worlds. The artifact's energy pulsed gently, recognized and respected by the Council. As they entered the chamber, The council leaders examined the artifact with reverence. "It is unlike anything we have seen," one said. "Your actions have preserved not only its power but the balance of the galaxy." Kira stepped forward, her glowing eyes meeting the leaders. "This device is not for domination. It is a tool for protection and knowledge. I pledge to ensure it is never used to harm the innocent." Rian stood beside her. "We have fought to protect it and the galaxy, and we will continue to do so. As long as there are threats," the council deliberated, and after careful discussion, they entrusted Kira and Rian with the artifact, giving them the authority to safeguard it and decide when its power should be used. It was a monumental responsibility, and both understood the weight of their new role. Days passed as they familiarized themselves with the council's protocols, learning ways to monitor threats across the galaxy. Kira's abilities allowed them to detect disturbances in energy, while Rian's strategic mind devised protective measures and contingency plans. Milo enhanced the ship's systems and Terra trained new pilots, preparing for any future conflicts. Yet, amid their responsibilities, moments of quiet connection remained. One evening, on the observation deck, Kira and Rian watched a distant star rise over a nebula. "The galaxy is beautiful," Kira said softly, "and now we have a chance to protect it." Rian smiled, glancing at her. "It is, and we've proven that even in darkness, courage and trust can light the way. Together, we can face anything." Kira reached out, taking his hand. "I never imagined I would find someone who sees me as more than power or beauty. But with you, I am whole. I feel hope again." Rian squeezed her hand gently. "And I never thought I would meet someone who changes everything. You've shown me what it truly means to fight for what matters." In the following weeks, their reputation grew across the galaxy. Stories spread of the human who saved the alien and the alien who trusted him, of their courage and intelligence, and of the battles they had won together. They became symbols of hope, proof that unity between species could overcome tyranny and greed. Zorak, the Galactic King, had retreated to his stronghold, his ambitions thwarted for now. But Rian and Kira knew he would not give up easily. Still, they were prepared. With the artifact secure and allies ready, they could face any challenge that came their way. One morning, as the twin suns of a distant system rose over a calm planet, Kira turned to Rian. "We have survived so much, but now we can build a future, not just for ourselves, but for the galaxy." Rian smiled. "Yes, a future where courage, trust, and friendship matter more than power, and we'll do it together." They stood side by side, looking at the stars. For the first time since her capture, Kira felt completely free not only in body but in spirit. Rian, too, understood that his journey had led him to something far greater than adventure, a bond that could change the universe. The galaxy was still full of challenges, but hope shone brighter than ever. The artifact's energy pulsed gently, a reminder of their responsibility and strength. And in that moment, human and alien stood united, ready to face whatever came next. The story of Rian and Kira, the human who defied expectations and the alien who learned to trust, again became a legend across the stars. They had faced slavery, betrayal, and war, yet they emerged stronger, wiser, and united. And as their ship glided toward new adventures, carrying them across the galaxy, they knew one thing for certain. Together, there was no force that could stop them. They were more than allies, they were partners, guardians, and symbols of hope for every world they touched. The galaxy had been changed forever, and so had they.